so high with Kath and Nath.
I'm not housing a breakfast sandwich.
Nice. Hi, Kath.
Hi, Nath.
What are we eating there? What we got?
This is a frozen breakfast treat that you can buy at your grocery store. That apparently is lower in fat and calories for your health and wellness.
It's one of my favorite phrases from older commercials. You can find it in your grocer's freezer.
Yeah, right.
You don't hear that anymore.
Also, everything was always all part of a balanced breakfast.
Yeah.
Milk, toast, and juice. That was always part of the breakfast.
Yeah, no protein whatsoever.
Who needs it, please?
Speaking of which, did you see cereal's been basically outlawed by the FDA?
Real what? It has?
Not outlawed.
No.
I shouldn't spread false information. But they basically said Raisin Bran's not as healthy as it once was. Weird.
If you wondered why it took me a second to figure out what you were saying, I thought you were talking about Cereal, the podcast. And then I was like, no, wait, FDA. Oh, no, wait, you're talking about food. Okay, Kate, here we go. Well, you know what? I'm fine.
You're doing great.
Sometimes I just say how my brain works out loud and makes it fun for everyone.
You know, it's that kind of day.
Is it ever?
It really is. But, well, enjoy your breakfast sandwich. I hope that works out well for you today.
I'm finished now. I was trying to get it eaten before we started, and I almost got there, but
so close.
I didn't quite make it. So close.
So little,
anyway,
as they call it in the podcasting biz, a little housekeeping. You can find us now on Spotify and YouTube.
That's exciting.
Yes, we're taking over. We are still the number one podcast recorded on Fridays at 9:30, between 9:30 and 10:30 in Kenmore. So
I feel pretty good about that, honestly.
I
said to you, and then I felt immediately terrible after I said it to you, because I said, I forget that this is something that we just don't do for fun that ever ends up anywhere else, because you are doing, we should say, all of the work as far as the podcast goes. I show up with a half-eaten breakfast sandwich and lose my place and don't know what's going on the entire time. But I'm enjoying myself so much.
Deeper in therapy.
I don't care if anyone else is listening. It's a good time for me.
Jen started following us on our Instagram. By the way, we're on Instagram at Kath and Nath.
Nice.
And
good for us. Yeah,
we're doing it. I haven't posted anything. I want more episodes. I mean, by now, when you hear this, there's going to be so many posts.
Yes. Yeah. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah. So I don't know if Jen's actually listening, but she's following. So cool.
Well, listen, that's how it starts. Gotta bring them in.
Yeah. All right. Sad week. This one hit hard. Angela Lansbury passed away. I
know, it was sad.
I mean, full life, wonderful life, 96, bless her heart, as they say.
Yes.
But still, I immediately called upon Carol Burnett and others to get put into, isolation and community watch and make sure they're fine.
I love Carol Burnett, and I loved the Carol Burnett show as well. There's a lot of pictures of me as a kid where I'm holding on to my earlobe.
Oh, really?
She used to always do that. Yeah. And so there's a bunch, and I'm little. I'm probably 4 years old, and I'm doing the little thing. I thought it was so funny, and I probably didn't get it at all.
Right.
I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, it was a shout out to her grandmother, correct?
What's that? Yes.
It was a shout out to her grandma, yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. But yes, I know Angela Lansbury. The thing that's interesting about her is so many people knew her from Murder, She Wrote, and she had done so many other things. I read something interesting that said she outlasted all of the bombshells and pinups of her generation. And she had made so many films and won Tonys and nominated for Oscars and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, always working, whether it was film or theater, and just always kind of chugging along, right? I mean, such an incredible legacy. I'm a huge fan of the Manchurian Candidate from I forget what year, but it's in the 60s it was made, and she plays just this diabolical mother, trying to get, it's a political drama. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
Great cast. And like, that's my standout for her. Like, obviously would watch Murder, She Wrote from time to time with grandma. That was always fun.
I used to watch it. It was on Sundays. I used to watch it with my parents.
It was the lead in for when Monday Night Raw, pro wrestling, because obviously that was the lead in back in like the mid 90s. It was the lead into pro wrestling. That's but fair. You laugh, like at that time, it was like the audience of like my grandmother was watching pro wrestling because that's who I started watching pro wrestling with. So awesome. it made sense on paper. Like they knew what they were doing.
That's really interesting. I also read something about her that she would hire actors who were older because it helped them to keep their health insurance. Like if they were working, then that was one of the things that she was big on, which I thought was really, really interesting.
One of the many articles that, of course, popped up was in a 2014 interview she did, I believe, with either NPR or The Guardian. Her daughter got mixed up with the Manson family a little bit, which is insane.
Well, what you had sent me an email that just had some notes written down, and one said Angela Lansbury and Charles Manson, and
it's vague. Classic Dave Benson move.
I'm waiting a second because I saw you just drank something, and again, inside my brain, they dated.
Wasn't in the movie.
I had no idea. So I just had to Google it. And then, yes, I discovered that. So she and her husband and their children moved to Ireland to get out of California, to get away from the Manson. Yeah.
And her daughter, is back in California, owns like an Italian restaurant now and is fine, not part of the Manson family. So, but yeah, just insane. Like, how is that a connection? Holy cow.
I know, of all people. And the other thing about her too that I did not realize for a long time, I loved the show Mame. They made it into two different movies, but she played Mame on Broadway, which I didn't realize until I went looking for. There's a great song, Bosom Buddies, and so I was looking for that song, and then I found it, and I realized that I'm like, wait, that's Angela Lansbury. Like, no way, who knew?
Yeah, and of course, all the 90s kids, Beauty and the Beast, and her last role was the sequel of Mary Poppins, but she just has a great singing part at the end there that just ends the whole movie. And it's just such a nice little nod to kind of that era of Hollywood, because she's in it. Dick Van Dyke has a cameo too, so it's like just such a throwback to stuff I saw as a kid. And like I said, this one hurt. This was a bummer, but 96, you can't we had her for a good time,
for sure. And what a wonderful career and a wonderful life. So you can't get upset about that, Nath, please.
I'm really not but if I make it to 40, cheers.
You're doing it. Come on.
Doing so well.
40,
it's
40 not that hard to get to, please. Here we are.
Yeah.
I did it.
I know it's a nondescript mug, but enjoying some fresh cider because it's it's that time of year where we go 40 minutes from our homes. And in my case, it was 2 hours because we went back to Auburn, go to an apple orchard and do the farm work that we don't do daily for the apple orchard owners, and then pay a lot of money for the cider and the apples. So I'm going to savor this.
Fruits of the season. And you get the donut. Have you
done any apple picking yet?
Well, no, but I was in an apple orchard for a story, which was actually very interesting because I didn't really know a lot about the growing process and all of that. But the way that they're pruned, they're almost pruned in a Christmas tree shape. And they're flat, like they're sort of straight so that more sun can get in.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
So I thought that was really interesting because basically I think I had been to an apple orchard, went apple picking with apple picking with some friends. When I very first started my YouTube channel, which by the way turned 9 years old, there's dust on it at this point, but still, when I first started, I shot a bunch of stuff. I think I shot it on like a little camera I had or my phone or something like that. But I shot our whole day of apple picking. And then I turned it into what if it was a horror movie trailer?
I need to go find that.
I mean, it actually, when all was said and done, I was like, this is so disturbing because you're just like, oh my God. My one friend, Karen, she had found a stick. And so she was, she was like dancing and just being funny. But when you slow that down and put like creepy music behind it, she looks like a total maniac. Anyway, it was a delight. But that was my last time apple picking. So that was
I mean, you turned it into fun adventure into murder time with Kate. So that's
always a good time. But the other thing I remember about that day was that it was really warm. So, but we had still gone for it and been like, well, let's wear flannel and it's fall. So here we go. And then we're just sweating. And I also bought way too many apples.
Always too many apples. Always. Well, especially with like Emmeline and Harrison, Harrison's is like, I got one. I'm like, Harrison, we have 3 bushels of apples. Like I have enough apples for the rest of my life. Like, please stop picking apples.
Well, you go apple picking and you pick 4 and you're like, I'm good.
I'm good. And then Emmeline, 2 stories of my dear Emmeline, my sweet, sweet Emmeline. We went up to Becker Farms years ago. And this Harrison was maybe a year old. Maybe this was like first time apple picking. So this is maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And we're picking apples and I see Emmeline take a bite and don't think anything of it. Then she's taking like a new apple, taking a bite. And I'm like, what is going on? I look in the bag, Kate.
No.
The bag at this point is full.
No.
She had taken a bite out of every single apple. And I go, Emmeline, why did you take? She's like, well, I wanted to make sure they were good, Dad.
Well, quality control.
I can't deny the logic there, but so now I'm just like, okay, dump out the bag of apples. I'm like, these are gonna go with the cider mill. Thanks. Pick new apples. So I apologize to Becker Farms if they found half-eaten apples 5 years ago.
What happened? It's funny, when I did that story in the apple orchard, I was talking to the farmer and we were talking about I think it's, the Snapdragon. It's a newer kind of apple and it's the official apple of the Buffalo Bills this year. Yes. And also, but I mean, it is really delicious. And it was interesting because he said that it has kind of some Honeycrisp in it, but apparently Honeycrisp is a real pain in the neck to grow. So it's easier to grow, but it still has that flavor and whatever. But he said to me, he goes, this is the deal with this apple. My kids eat the whole thing. Oh. And I just started laughing because I'm like, even though I am not a parent,
that
small child, I know that they always do that. They take a bite. They're like, I want an apple. They take a bite, and then the apple is to the wind. That's it.
And Emmeline did that, last weekend when we went. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I was done. I'm like, yeah, one bite.
It's done.
In this economy, don't throw the apple away.
You know what, though? I like her attitude, though, because I'll tell you what, there are plenty of days that I just get up and it's like, I want to take one bite of it and be like, I'm done. That's it.
Completely.
See you later.
I understand that. Yeah. I didn't know this about apples. If you buy an apple at the store and try to, because we've all done this. Oh, I can grow my own stuff and just like take whatever dumb seed we find and dumb food we bought. Apples, you have to get organic apples if you want to try to dry the seeds and grow them. Just because there's been so much, grafting and cross apple, mating.
I like how you said that.
They just won't. You won't like. So if you get a Cortland, it's like good luck. It's probably not going to be a Cortland. It'll be like a Cortland dragon or something.
Yeah, who knows?
So
Cortland dragon.
To the listener of the podcast, if you're going to try to grow your own apple tree, please get an organic apple.
Do yourself a favor, or else you'll grow. Who knows what you'll grow?
The whole and SNL did this skit about apple picking, and it's pretty much spot on. like we went to Owen's Orchard just outside of Auburn when we recently visited, and I enjoy it. It's one of those central Western New York things. I do enjoy going, but it is so funny. I'm just like on this bumpy wagon that hasn't had a tire changed in 30 years. And just, this is so much fun, kids. Harrison's hanging off the side of it. Look what I'm doing. Jen's trying to hang him by the ankles. Like, please don't fall off because you're 10 pounds. Just, all right, we're going to drive you a mile away. Then you have to walk back with your apples. Cool.
It's good to know that you actually enjoy it, because sometimes when you go, you're looking at families who I suspect may be there for a photo opportunity, and that's the main goal. So the rest of it just becomes very cumbersome.
Yeah, we if I can get a good, it is a two-purpose trip. Get our apples for the annual apple crisp, and then of course, take whatever photo of the kids. And it's funny, like I was going through the family photos the other day. I'm just like, if I die, like they're not going to know I existed in this family because I'm the photographer. And
get in the picture.
I've done a horrible job of like, all right, guys, stand still, and then just snapping myself. I don't do that, so I've had to kind of get in that habit of like, well, my kids should know I was alive at one point, so, or my grandkids or great grandkids, like, oh, Grandpa Benson. But yeah, the Harrison does not take a good photo. I love the kid to death, but he doesn't look at the camera. All right, Harrison, look at the camera. So I'm literally like holding the shutter down and just like, please, Harrison, come on, look here, Harrison. And I finally, so after 300 photos, I get one of him going, like that. So we did get a nice one of the family at the apple orchard. So I guess, check box for suburban life.
I have a couple of hot tips for you as far as taking family photographs that I've learned in my travels of life.
Yes, let's hear it.
One year, my friend sent me a Christmas card, the whole family on the beach, and they all had sunglasses on, and it was a really cute picture. And I just said, I love the picture. It turned out so great. She goes, yeah. Do you want to know why we're all wearing sunglasses? Because nobody wants to look at the camera. So if you put sunglasses on everybody, you can't tell.
Can't tell. That's genius. Smart. Genius.
Another thing,
the cloudy day, why are sunglasses?
Doesn't matter. The other thing I saw on the internet was a guy who, I don't know if he's a photographer, or if this is just something he realized, but he had two pictures of his son. Mm-hmm. The first picture, he told his son to smile, and you can just imagine it's that forced, like, yes, exactly, straight
by default.
Yes, very, like, just no good. Yeah. In the second picture, he just yelled poop at him. He was like, poop, and the kid's like, it's the most hilarious, natural, smile. I thought that was fantastic, because that is true. Some of the best pictures are when people are just laughing, because it can be awkward. We do this when Chip and I take pictures. I'll always be like, do I look crazy? Do I have crazy eyes? Oh my gosh. So we always have to check. It's like, why do I do that? I'm like, I don't know. But we all do it sometimes. You have that look on your face, like, who is that? What took over my body during that photo?
Yeah. Harrison, because he's still so little, when we would do like a family portrait, there was this photographer we worked with, and kind of does all the family portraits and stuff. I'll always just grab him by his ankle and hold him upside down.
Like a fish.
And he gets a great reaction, great smile. So I've got all these pictures of the house of me like holding my kid upside down.
You need what they have I was at the zoo recently, and there was a guy who takes the pictures when people come in, mm-hmm. and he had this big squeaky frog that's around the lens of the camera.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought
click.
It got my attention, I'll tell you.
Right here, Kate. Right here. Squeak.
Unsurprisingly, I'm like, look at that. I'm just in a bunch of family pictures for strangers because I'm trying to look at the camera.
That would be a great bit for. You should do that for Most Buffalo Store one day. Like, just go to like wherever.
Just take people's pictures.
Yeah, and just be like, hi, and just like getting people's pictures. You could get away with it easily. Me, it's just creepy, but you could definitely get away.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you get away. It might depend. Who knows? Yeah. Until someone just elbows you in the face, and then you're like, well, this was a failed experience.
Terrible idea.
Yes.
Reporting in Buffalo.
Maybe I could finally wear an eye patch, though. That would be neat.
You haven't worn an eye patch in a store yet?
Well, actually, maybe I have.
I Because I say that because like if you had given me $1 million to determine, like I would like, yeah, she absolutely was born an eye patch. Come on.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I've done it professionally. I've definitely done
In my spare time.
my spare time. In college, I was a pirate once. It was fantastic because I found a parrot and I was able to attach him to my shoulder. Not a real parrot, a costume parrot.
It'd been funny for you, and if a real parrot, and I laughed because on the way home from work last night, I was listening to Monty Python because I'm 1,000 years old, and the bit where he tries to return the parrot that's dead.
Yes.
So it's not dead. Hello. So yes, you should.
Yes, oh, I enjoy it so much.
You should. I think for Halloween, if you're working most Buffalo on Halloween, I think you should just have a parrot on your shoulder the entire show.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Or at least for one segment, at least the back half of the show.
I don't know. Well, you might want to watch because there might be something to that.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I don't want to give details right now. We'll see.
Move on from the conversation.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it promises to be interesting if it comes together in the way that is being planned currently.
What a deep tease. I love it. Oh well. Speaking of nothing we were talking about, did you sign up for the turkey trot this year?
Absolutely not. No.
Every year I'm like, this is the year. I've been here 15 years. I'm like, I'm gonna do it this year. I don't run, Catherine. I'm not a runner.
Well, speaking of some of people's family pictures, I think it was it must have been the first when I was first here because I was working daybreak. And so we had to be out there for the turkey trot. So Pete and Patrick and I are out there and we just had to cheer people on outside the station because it goes right by the station.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
Oh yeah.
It was so cold that year. It was insane.
Yeah.
But first of all, I don't think I've ever been at the front of I've run a few 5Ks. I've never certainly been in the front, but I don't know that I've ever even watched one. Mm-hmm. They come in and how fast the people who are the good runners who are there to win it.
Yeah.
Fast they run.
Oh yeah. But
it's fun because everyone's dressed up. Well, this one woman comes over. She's like, oh, okay, blah, blah. And there was I think her daughter went to Bonaventure or she went to Bonaventure. There's some sort of connection there. But anyway, we took a picture together and, she was on her way. Well, then Christmas came and she sent me a Christmas card. I was in their Christmas card. The picture of us.
That's fantastic.
That was fantastic. I'm like, here I am on someone's Christmas. I'm like, who is this person?
And this is our new adopted family member, Catherine.
Hello.
That's fantastic. I should do that one year. Just like get like Pete Galvin. Mm-hmm. I loved working the turkey trot. I would always work in daybreak, so I was always at the starting line, as preparations were happening. And one of my favorite stories to this day was when I did a ripoff of Billy on the Street and just went around asking people who are they wearing and why, and then just didn't give them a chance to like really get into it, and then I would just move on. And it was like it's Thanksgiving, like there's no news, so I'm like, I'm gonna put together this silly package. It was like number one for like 2 days, like
awesome.
It's just like going around. So I forgot what I actually called it. Turkey trot fashion show or something like that. But
I have to go searching for that.
Yeah.
Or you have to send it to me so I can watch it.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of hoping. I'm like, maybe I should just go do it again this year. I think I'm working. I'll probably end up having to produce or something, but that's my favorite. The turkey trot beginning is just a maddening those. And I'd always, typical photographer, I have to get the low angle of everybody running at me and then like dive out of the way, like right before they run me over. One year I did not make it out of the way in time. So
am I remembering this correctly? There's always the people that run with a canoe.
Always, the 5K with the canoe, and
wild.
Cool, good for them. And that's what's cool about that race. It's just like it's turned into a very very Buffalo thing, right? Like it's not just a 5K. And then really over the last, I think, decade, they've really amped up the dressing up aspect of it. I mean, because it's allegedly the oldest 5K in the country.
I was just gonna say that something like that. I knew it was something oldest in the country. Or
I would love to go back to the History Museum, see if there's like a a photo from like the first turkey trot. Like everyone in their wool pants.
Little cap,
Little
stocking
dumb
cap.
caps like this.
Apparently, we're just running.
Why are we running on Thanksgiving? I don't
Why?
understand this. Run for fun.
Oh, I definitely have run on Thanksgiving when I was trying to run. And I feel like it was probably one of the last times that I ran because it was like, all right, now it's cold and
Yeah.
I give up.
I'm just full from turkey and I'm running. Ugh.
Yeah, I can't do it.
No,
Well, never after the meal. Definitely
oh, absolutely not.
morning of. I have done that. I will say that for myself, but not in that way.
Yeah. When we first, were on our own and had the house and was figuring out like holidays and stuff, we had a few Thanksgivings where it was just Jen and I. At the time I was working and like we couldn't go home or whatever. And just like, I totally understand. Okay, for some reason we eat at 2:00. Don't know why. So like by 4, we're like, what do we do? Like neither one of us are huge football fans, so that's not, like we're not clamoring to see the Lions play the Packers.
Right.
So one year we did the whole let's go do the Black Friday shopping thing at Walmart on a Thursday at Thanksgiving. That was terrible. And I said to Jen, I was like, never again am I doing this nonsense. Like, why am I in line for a DVD I'm never going to watch? Well, it's $3. I don't care.
I used to always go downtown in my hometown when I would come home for Thanksgiving. I would go on Friday and do like my Black Friday shopping there, just because I would be like, all right, this is my tradition. I'm going down there, doing the thing. And now there's actually more things down there now, so that's kind of nice.
Now it's a bustling metropolis.
It sure is. It really is. So.
We are starting what I think will be a new tradition this year, and I'd actually like it to be a tradition. So we'll have Thanksgiving dinner, then we are going to New York City Black Friday, staying in Tarrytown, going into the city on Saturday, and seeing the Rockettes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my wife, loves the Rockettes. She was a dancer growing up and did a bunch of the Rockette intensives when they would tour and things like that. And of course, like many dancers, wanted to be a Rockette. She doesn't have the height. Love her, just doesn't have the height. But as Jen said, she goes, at the end of the day, I realized I'm not a Rockette. I'm still genetically a Polish farmer from 1812. I was like, I love you so much.
That's good too.
She's like, I can't. I take the mule up the hill. I don't dance on stage. I'm like, all right, we all know our place. But we're doing that this year. My mother-in-law and Jen's grandmother, so the kid's great-grandmother, is going. So it's like this new thing we're doing, and we're already talking about, do we do Thanksgiving in New York next year? Like, why not? My parents have done it before. They've done the whole Macy's thing, and my dad loves Thanksgiving in New York because he's like, yeah, I went to every Irish pub and had a turkey. I'm like, okay, thanks, Dad.
Great. Perfect.
Guinness and turkey goes well together.
Sounds great. So yeah, it's fun to go to New York around Christmas time and see all of the things in the store windows and all of that. Is cool. It is nice, despite the fact that New York City gives me a massive amount of anxiety. Like, I want to be like, I love it here, but meanwhile, I'm like, I'm having a good time.
I'm having so much fun. That's why we do so Jen and I figured out last year, and I kind of said this in a previous episode, we do the Tarrytown thing, and then it's just the train ride into Grand Central, and then you're right there. So it's like you're not jerking around with the subway or anything like that.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's just one train ride in, one train ride out. It's affordable. So yeah, it was before inflation. So who knows? I think we'll have to sell one of the kids when we're there. No, I'm not going to sell my kids. Relax. Should preface that's a joke.
Not both of them.
Yeah, I mean, flip a coin.
Listen, if you still have both after that whole apple orchard incident, then I feel like you're going to stick with them for a little while longer anyway.
Yeah, Emmeline's going to be 10 this year. Just one bite. I'm like, look at us having fun.
It's reminding me of when we talked about this before, about my father calling us the locusts,
right?
My sisters and me. It's very similar.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a good time.
All right, Kath, what are you watching? What are you reading? What can you recommend to our listener?
Wow, that's a really good question because I'm scrambling in my brain to think about what on earth I have been watching
Yeah.
lately. I did start watching I don't even remember the name of it, and it was something I'd never even heard of. It was some guy who started like a sex cult at Sarah Lawrence. I don't know. But I lost interest. And I don't even know what happened.
Is that the Nivium thing out of Albany?
No,
No,
not next
no,
year.
it's the other sex cult. I apologize.
I'm sorry. Please get it straight.
No, so sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, it was some sort of true crime documentary that I clearly can't necessarily recommend because I don't really remember anything about it. But how about you?
I haven't jumped on the Dahmer train.
No,
everyone's talking about that. I'm just like, oh, it looks well made. I love the cast. As a Reno 911 fan, love the cast. But it's just that's a bit heavy. And I watched half of Blondie, the new Marilyn Monroe Netflix movie.
Both of those I've heard. I've heard that's very depressing. And then Dahmer, a lot of people are like, I had to give up because it's too disturbing.
Yeah. Blondie, it's not a true biopic. It's not like a factual telling of her story. It's interpretive, of course, and it's very our house. It's NC-17, so you can imagine.
Oh, good.
It was. I haven't been that bummed out watching something since I first saw. Hi, Brian. Since I first saw Requiem for a Dream. So to put it in that vein, I thought it was well made. I mean, from a storytelling standpoint, it was unique and different, but it was heavy. I actually didn't finish it because I just was like, I need to go to bed, and this is a bit much.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about that. Yeah. So, well, boy, we're really filled with great recommendations.
We really are. I got a Lily Tomlin record at Savers recently. That was hysterical.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the first half of it, like she's just prank calling people on stage. It's hysterical.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So Lily Tomlin.
Love that.
Cheers to her. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm watching.
Oh, did I tell you? Well, I think I told you that I had read Bunnicula for a school group.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend that to adults as well. I think it's a great story.
Great little story.
I may have already said that. I just don't remember. I'm just trying to come up with something else that I've done besides not remember anything. But guess what?
This week, my recommendation is scroll endlessly on Instagram and hope for the best.
I mean, honestly, sometimes that's just what happens. And then I feel terrible about it.
Have you gotten into do you save posts on Instagram?
I save so many posts.
So, Catherine, we'll talk about that maybe next week. Like, I have an unhealthy amount of saved Instagram.
Me too.
Like I have a comedy tab because I do have a penchant for stand-up comedy. I have like 700 posts saved. I'm like, wow, I'm never gonna watch all this. It's too much.
Also, good for you for having them in folders. Mine is just a total mishmash. There is no organization whatsoever.
I have, as I pull it up, stand by. I have very many. I have woodworking because, I have pro wrestling.
Yep.
Save your comments for later. Comedy, Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Office, Anthony Bourdain, woodworking, food, because, I need some more calories. Photography ideas. Yeah, I've got them all cataloged and way too much content that I'm never going to open again. So, thanks, Instagram.
The only organization I had is I did one for wedding stuff, and then I was saving things like that I saw that I liked, but that was it. The rest of it.
Now that's over.
Yeah, that's done. It's done.
What the wedding? The wedding is done.
The wedding is over.
Chip is very much alive. I think, yes. Right? I haven't seen him in a while.
He's alive and well, yes. Sorry. I'm just, as I just kept, like,
he's alive!
Poor Charles.
All right, Kath, we'll see you next week.
All right, see you, Nath.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Sounded like a threat.
You'll have cheers. Goodbye.
Bye.